I finished all 8 episodes of the first season of the Boroughs, and this is my spoiler review. So here's your chance to get out. Spoilers will be mentioned.
You have been warned.
All right, let's get into it. Now, what brought me, I won't say brought me, but what got me enticed or interested in watching the Boroughs was the cast, because Alfred Molina, right? I think I remember, if I'm not mistaken, he was in he was an octopus dude, right? In Spider-Man movies. And then you have Gina Davis, who I love from A League of Their Own, one of my favorite movies growing up, watching one of my all-time favorite sports movies. Alfred Woodward, I mean, you've seen her in plenty of things, and then the list goes on and on. But from episode 1 to about 3, the pacing was not slow. Some might feel like it's slow, but it wasn't too bad. It kind of got you into it and stuff. I mean, the monster was like, I think right there in the first episode or towards the end of the first episode. So you got an idea, okay, how it was going to be, what it was about and everything. And then kind of how it just went along. I like that they use old people, and they even reference this in the show, how old people are like, you know, little kids and stuff, in a sense where they still need some attention and they're not fully independent, which is kind of like, it was making fun of old people throughout the show, but showing that, hey, they are more capable than, you know, just than anybody really, when given a certain opportunity or a situation in which they have to, in a sense, prove themselves. So I like how they kind of had that dynamic. I like the whole backstory. I wasn't sure where it was going to go with all this. It didn't play too much into the supernatural, but it, you know, left it open in a sense for interpretation. And even how the season 1 ended, you can tell that, hey, there's a lot to be explored in this little universe and whatnot. I enjoyed the cast. The casting and acting is really what, you know, made the move or made the show for me personally. Obviously, that is what got me interested in it. So that's where my focus was most of the time anyways. Art was my favorite character. Art was laid back. Art was cool. Art knew his wife was fucking their neighbor and stuff and everything. But he was heartbroken when he found out that she fell in love. So, you know, I guess they knew, you know, they've been together for 44 years, going through the early 60s or late 60s rather, 70s, stuff like that. So they probably were more of a free loving spirit, kind of open relationship. Yeah, you can have sex with so-and-so, but, you know, I don't know if you have to be known about it, but the rule was never to fall in love. And she fell in love because, you know, Jack made her feel, you know, young and stuff. And Judy had her moment where she was kind of like a spoiled brat, right? Because she's like, no, me and Art are family no matter what. You're selfish. You're selfish. You're selfish, right? Jack made Judy feel, you know, young again, and he saw blah, blah, whatever. Selfish. Plain and simple. And Art, he just kind of just seemed like he just shut her off and just like, fuck her. I don't feel like doing none of this. But it was good to see them have their kind of reconciliation throughout the first season and come back together. So that was good. The whole real cougar love interest and everything between Gina Davis's character, Renee Joyce, and then Carlos Miranda's character, Paz Navarro. At first I was like, this is like, are we really doing this right now? But I guess, you know, it was another relationship to explore, another dynamic, right? Another topic to have, older, young relation, kind of dynamic in the sense of relationship, whatever. And I think that's a real age gap discussion when we're talking about dating that doesn't really get talked about. Because when you have someone in their 60s and their 70s and they're dating someone in their 30s and 40s, like that's a huge age gap. But clearly those are two grown as adults and they can make their own decisions. But of course, you see that in public, we're all going to fucking look, because why would we not? So I like how they kind of brought some of that stuff up. It felt like a family show. Obviously, it's not a family show, but at the same time, it's nothing like over the top or grotesque or anything like that. So it felt like you had like this 80s ET vibe and stuff where, like, you know, they were kids just running around, even though they're grown as adults, you know, in their 70s. They're just like kids running around and stuff and everything, and trying to solve a mystery, trying to figure out what's going on. Mind you, people are actually fucking dying. But that was the thing. They were old, so everybody expected them to die anyways. So it was perfect, really, as far as like a villainous perspective, like the hard their plan and their scheme that they had going on. It made a lot of sense. But I think I would have liked the music to be a little bit more. The music was good. I think the emphasis really should have been more just, and it kind of was for the most part, music on their time, their childhood, things that they remember and stuff. I know there was one musical kind of scene, I think in episode 7 or 8, when they were trying to escape not Jack, when they were trying to escape, break out Sam from the manor and stuff, and they kind of broke into I think it was a Bruce Springsteen song. So that made sense because all the old people, were reliving their younger years and everything. So that was good. I like how the cast itself, far as like, the opposition side, everyone that worked for the manor and whatnot, the people that were drinking the orange goo and stuff. I like how they kind of went into their lives a little bit, but I think they could have kind of put a little bit more emphasis on their background. Let's see, if I'm not mistaken, I think his name was Hank, the character. Yeah, we got a little bit of a backstory, but that was more or less to show that, hey, he's been alive for a long time and stuff. But I kind of wish they went into more of the other ones' backstories a little bit, how they got there and everything. Nothing too serious, just a couple lines here and there, just to kind of flesh that out a little bit more. That might be something they might explore going on to season 2, even though they're all fucking dead. But is it season 2? I don't know. It might be a little. It definitely doesn't feel like a miniseries. I'm pretty sure they got something else, geared up if they get renewed for another season and stuff. But this should not be a show that gets dragged on for seasons. 4, 5 at the most. This does not need to be dragged on. I think even 5 is kind of pushing, to be honest with you, because I don't really see where this goes. Obviously, the cast is old. So do you want to bring in a new cast each season and stuff and kind of retell the story? Do you want to expand upon the universe within itself in that present time? Do you want to go back and do a prequel? Like, there's different ways you can go back, but if you do a prequel, to me, that's more of a spinoff, not necessarily a season 2, unless you kind of tie it back into the present time. You see where I'm going? So 3, 4 seasons at the most. Anything over that is overkill, and you're just trying to ride the wave of the hype. But I enjoy watching the show. I did kind of have to push through it, but I'm glad I did push through it because I end up actually enjoying it and stuff. I wouldn't say it's nothing top there that I was like, oh man, I love this. I want to watch it again and all that stuff. I want to do a real deep dive. Nah. It was just a nice little, thing to watch and stuff. I wouldn't call it binge worthy. This summertime, you want to watch something, you got some time to spend or whatever, or a couple of weeks, something like that. Watch an episode a night. Just spread out your time watching this stuff. You ain't got to watch it. There's no real rush. Right, you're not really missing out on anything. There's a lot of dialogue and stuff. I mean, yeah, there's some action scenes and everything, but obviously they're older and stuff, so you're not getting too many action scenes or anything like that. And the story is good enough to kind of follow along, but I wouldn't say anything take seriously, but it is enjoyable. That's just my thoughts on it. Go ahead and leave a comment, drop a like, follow, subscribe, all that stuff, man. Appreciate you.